Oh boy. Well, I put this off because I was supposed to get a couple more books, at least one, but I was really hoping for both of them. They're not here, and I decided I'm not going to hold out anymore. This room is starting to stack up, and I can't take it. So I've kicked the dogs out because they wanted to go rambling. My daughter's home, so her AC unit is out there, so I have to shut the door. The dogs are not going to be happy. They're going to be barking pretty soon. But, gotta do what you gotta do. But I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 13 books here. That's a nice, round number. I also have a nice little mug of tea because it's just cool enough to get away with it. It's still too hot to drink though. And last night I made cookies. So I even have a couple of lemon crinkles to go with my London Fog tea, and it's a good combo. They're very lemony. They're so good. So anyway, reading wise, I finally started again. Mostly I had to just stop everything. So last Wednesday, I was sitting there staring at my manuscript going, I can't do this. The idea is, I'm supposed to be writing a novella for a collection of book club matchmaking schemes. Everybody's got something different, all the things, right? And so I was doing one in Crosswords in Greenville, and basically it was going to be the third Greenville book, and then I was going to put one in the middle. So we kind of get the end of Panda Marie's story, but we get their story in the middle, and this is someone else's story with the end of Panda Marie's, right? I had this idea, and it was going to be great until I saw the word count. So the word count of this thing is supposed to be 8,000 to 12,000 words. I didn't get that when I was talking with the coordinator. It came out in a post in the forum that we have later, and I was like, I'm already over 15,000, and I've just gotten the setup done. We all know everything that's going on and how it's all going to go wrong and right and all the things. But that's all we have. We don't actually have any, anything happening. They haven't even had their, now they, as of today, they've had their first full meeting, but they hadn't even had their first full meeting. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm not going to rush a story just to rush a story. And I may have even told you guys about this before, and if I did, just fast forward. It's starting to sound familiar. I don't know. But anyway, but the problem is that that means I had to write fast because I committed to this and I like to keep my commitments. It wasn't a firm commitment, no, but still. Well, I do have the book club capers, which I had started back. I'm pretty sure now I've told you about this. Sorry, I'm going to keep going in case I'm just dreaming. But back in 2022, I think, for Chantal Reads All Days, it's the one where I think the first one in January was quiet. That was the prompt. And it was the first simple prompts after a couple of years of, or either after a couple of years of more, intricate ones, or just before I think it was just before a couple of years of more intricate ones, either way. And so there's all these riddles with these prompts. And so in a sense, Chantal is in this book. And so it was kind of fun and everything, but life hit in that summer and I had to stop in July. So I'm picking that back up. And then this short story, it's 15,000 words about, I think, maybe slightly less. This just kind of follows it, and it's a kind of a romance, but it's interesting because it's not the romance that the characters went into it trying to create, and it doesn't end with one established by any stretch, but it does kind of give a hint of something. But more than anything, this is a romance of falling in love with reading again. And so that's really what it's about learning about different types of genres that maybe you wouldn't have read, but now you have, and what did you love about it, and how everybody gets something different out of reading. And so that's really what the story is. It's it's matchmaking readers with different books more than people. And that was fun to write. I really enjoyed it, had fun, got done, sent it off. Life is good. So now I can get back to real life. So I've written more fun in the next, well, it's not really the next, it's the third Greenville book, but it's Love's a Loft for the book loft in that book. And so I've done that. But in that short story, I did have Imogen, my character, bring lemon crinkles to the meeting. And so I had to make some because I was like, I hope that the things I have done to this recipe actually work. I should probably do that before I include it. And ching ching, yes, they definitely work. Okay, so anyway, I do have a book. You know, it's not a huge book haul. It's not a tiny one. It's just a book haul. So let's get into what these books are. I'm trying to remember. Maybe Chantal. I think maybe Chantal's the one who mentioned this. Okay, so I think this is Dane Ortlund. In the Lord I Take Refuge. I really do think Chantal is the one who mentioned it. If I'm wrong, it's not. But it's 150 daily devotions through the Psalms. And here's the deal. I mean, there are 150 Psalms. So clearly it's one per Psalm. And the only reason I got it was because I found a really inexpensive copy on eBay. I think I paid less than $5 shipped to my door. So, I mean, it's a nice, solid little book. But since we're doing the Psalms in our Bible study, I thought, you know, we're not even halfway through it. Someone has highlighted, oh, I love it. Since we're not even, oh my goodness. That someone went through the whole book. It feels so tight, but someone went through the whole book because they're highlighted all the way through. But anyway, I thought it would be good to kind of read, kind of like Shape of Mercy. It would be kind of fun to read, Shelter of Mercy or something like that. Yeah, I think a Shelter of Mercy. But to kind of read as we go through it in case it gives some extra insights that we might have missed. So I went ahead and got it because I was like, I went and looked just to see. I'm like, you know, and when it was less than $5, I was like, mine. So it seems weird to read the first line of it, but I'm kind of curious. Okay, we're going to skip the actual psalm because we all know blessed is the man, you know. It says, the first psalm serves as the gateway to the entire book of Psalms, stressing that those who would worship God genuinely must embrace his holy law or Torah. That is his covenant instruction founded on his redeeming grace. Okay, I like that. Let me get the dogs who are whining. They are looking for their B-O-N-Z, and I don't have any because I already gave it to them. Yes, I did. I know. I will pet both of you. All right. Go lay down. Okay. Next up, I think it was Jamie Jo Wright who mentioned these, and I was absolutely fascinated. So I went and looked for this one, and I found a copy that wasn't all that expensive. I think it was like $12, and it's an unusual book, so I didn't think that was too shabby for something this old. But it is 100 Best True Stories of World War II. I thought that was pretty cool. What, did you guys drink all the water? No, there's water in there. So, but this thing is written kind of like an encyclopedia with the double columns. And I don't know what we're going to find with the first sentence. But I'm going to try it. I think the Pacific Zone is where it starts. All right, I'm going to leave out kind of the epigraph introduction. It's The Unbelievable Adventure by Robert J. Casey. Save a place in history for Mr. Roy Vitusek, who momentarily became the Albert the Aviator of the Pacific War and retired miraculously famous, but even more importantly, alive. That's kind of cool. So anyway, I have a feeling this is going to be one of those ones that I just, decide to read one here and there, and it will probably take me a few years to get through, but it's entirely possible that once I get going, I will not be able to stop, and I will read them all, because this is how Shatona works. All right. Anyway, this one's a fun one. So, my daughter used to work as the secretary up at the Calvary Chapel here in town, and her boss was Terry, and Terry is a delightful man who happens to really like my agency files. So I have, every time a new one has come out, I have given it to him, and when there's been a big gap, he's been like, where's the next ones? He's really a delightful man. Well, he has put all of his poems together into a collection, which is super cool. And that collection does include one verse that also includes, so there, yeah, I could have gone to where there's this nice little green, but, so for a haiku for mine, it says, Shatona Havoc, mystery romance writer, my inspiration, which I thought was really funny because it's really not mystery romance, but okay. And then my daughter Kayleen, he wrote, head full of red hair, but speaks a mile a minute. Kayleen is my friend. Super cute. Most of them are not haiku like that. Most of them are, they're short stories, Christmas devotionals, Christian writings. But most of them are just really sweet. What do you see? Happy birthday to Kay. Moms and dads. Happy New Year. Tina and James. Bryce and Andrea. This was on a dear friend's daughter's wedding. And that was a beautiful day. And it's kind of neat, to have been at the wedding and then read the poem he wrote about it. And Neville is thirsty. Will you be my love? And it's a Valentine poem for his wife. Christmas 2011. I mean, it's just, there's 45 years, I'm assuming that's with his wife, but he signed it to me, and it's just a delightful little thing. Every once in a while I've been picking it up and just reading the next one, and I really actually liked most of them. I don't usually like haiku, but I cracked up at Kayleen's. It is so her, it's not even funny, so it just worked somehow, and I loved it. But so anyway, just, it's simple, but it's special to me anyway. So, Poems by Bones by Terry Morrison. Also, I haven't even opened this yet. So these are the paperbacks of the Winter series by, I think it's Chris Underwood. I'm going to laugh at myself if I got the wrong name. And he's the one that I started listening to and had to stop. I couldn't bring myself to start up again. They are Christian fiction in that they are strongly Christian themed and focusing on redemption and faith in hard times, but they definitely include language that I don't appreciate. So they have a caveat on them, and I think I'm going to handle it better. It's not going to be tons. I didn't like the few mild words I ran across, and then I got bombed, and that didn't make me happy, and I don't want to hear it. So I'm thinking that if I read it, I can skip over it easier. We're going to do that. And I was right. It is Chris Underwood. It is the Cold Winter series, so I have the Cold Winter, then Cold Winter Call to Arms, Battle on the Ohio River, and the Battle of Niagara Falls, which they all sounded so good, but that one just sounded really great. So I'm going to read the back of this one. The type is tiny, and you've got blue on black, so this is going to be fun, but let's try this. Oh, wait a minute. No. Okay. The Niagara Falls grid is down. A snowstorm traps the unprepared. A cold winter lies ahead. The northeast corner of the U.S. goes dark. The rest of the country has power, and desperate travelers join the roads to get there. They can't make it. Millions of people are displaced as a massive snowstorm descends. The Vesper family lives in a small town in central Ohio. They've prepped, but not enough. They vow to do the right thing for any person in need. The radio promises that everything will be back to normal soon. Instead, it's a cold, brutal winter. So the episode for this is coming out soon, and you'll be able to listen and see, what he's doing with it. First line, the truck door closed with a reassuring thud. Just not really much to look at there, but that's okay. But anyway, so yeah, I do want to read them because it sounds so good. And what I've read so far is good. The research this guy did for these books, he went on an actual, was it the submarine? Was it a submarine or a ship? I think it was a ship that was in World War II, and they take it all over from Indiana to down different rivers, and it's really cool what they do with this thing. But he actually lived on it. He's going to be there this fall on this thing in Nashville. So if you live in the area, you can go see it. So far it was really good, but like I said, I personally can't recommend the audio, even though the narration was fine, because and sometimes audio is a better way for me to do it, to see it and not hear it. But this is it's jarring me, and I think if I read it, I can just kind of jump over and keep moving. So not real happy about that, I will be honest, but I'm going to give them a shot. If it gets worse, A, I'll let you guys know, but also B, I will probably not finish it and find a new home for them, which will be really sad. But okay. Then I think it was Jen's Reading Life. She mentioned this one, and I had to snag it. The Diary of a Provincial Lady by E.M. Delafield. This, I think, has all of them in it. There's several, and I think it's an omnibus of several in one, if I recall correctly, containing, yes, 4 different books. So I was really actually annoyed by this one, though. So this cover, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's perfectly fine. The cover they showed on the eBay listing is not this one, though. And I actually paid a little extra for this one because I wanted the cover on that one. So I am a little annoyed. I'm just going to keep watching for an inexpensive copy of that other one, and then I'll pass this along. But she really raved about it, and it sounded good. So let's see what this says. Indian Night. I don't know who Indian Night is, but it says, I reread for the nth time E.M. Delafield's dry, caustic Diary of a Provincial Lady and howled with laughter. Okay, this is going to be really, really hard to read. I think this is a little better. The Provincial Lady has a nice house, a nice husband, usually asleep behind the times, and nice children. In fact, maintaining niceness is the Provincial Lady's goal in life. Raison d'être, I think. Anyway, she never raises her voice, rarely ventures outside Devon. Why would she? Only occasionally allows herself to become vexed by the ongoing servant problem, and would be truly appalled by the confessional mode of the late 20th century. The Provincial Lady is, after all, part of what made Britain, I almost said Britain great, Britain great. So it's just supposed to be fun and witty, and I kind of get the feeling that we're going to get all the things she would never say, but we're getting all her actual thoughts, but I'm not sure. So anyway, but it has 4 books in here. I wanted it. It sounded good. I hope Jen knows what she's talking about. I'm pretty sure she does. So yeah, had to have it. And then I'm going to move that one. While I was looking for, there's a sticker. Well, I was looking for something, I think, Diary of a Provincial Lady, because they both have diary in them, and I think that made eBay say, oh, don't you want this? I saw this one, and I was like, you know, maybe. So, and I'm just making a hash of all this. It's so bad. It's just so bad. The sticker is sticking in all the wrong places, and can I get it off? No, I can't. But at least it's leaving paper behind rather than taking paper off, because that I can work with that. It starts peeling away my paper, we got trouble. Right here in River City. Name that movie. Anyway, or play, either way. Anywho, so this is Helga's diary, a young girl's account of life in a concentration camp. So, you know, we always read about Diary of Anne Frank, who was kept in, you know, the attic, whatever. I thought, okay, let's find out about this. So, this is so hard to read. Okay, I moved the light a little closer to see if this will help some. In 1939, Helga Weiss was a young Jewish schoolgirl in Prague. As she endured the first waves of the Nazi invasion, she began to document her experiences in a diary. During her internment at the concentration camp of Terezin, Helga's uncle hid her diary in a brick wall. Of the 15,000 children brought to Terezin and deported to Auschwitz, there were only 100 survivors. Helga was one of them. Miraculously, she was able to recover her diary from the hiding place after the war. These pages reveal Helga's powerful story through her own words and illustrations. This edition includes a special interview with Helga by translator Neil Burnell. So, oh, the illustrations are darling. I hadn't seen them yet. Oh my goodness. They are so cool. Oh, wow. Oh, that's just, oh man. Anyway, there's quite a lot. So, yeah, I had to read it. You know, a diary recovered from Auschwitz? I mean, come on. Yeah, so, yeah, I'm thinking that's going to be an autumn book. I don't think I'm ready for it right now. But, yeah. So the last four here are ones that I decided to buy because I had been chatting with the authors on the podcast, etc., etc. Okay. So the first one was Who Am I to Judge? I've already talked about that one and what I loved about it and all the things. It's a Martha and Maria. I don't think it's Maria, and I think it's Maria. And I can't remember why I think that. But anyway, it's Martha and Maria mystery. This is A Cloud of Witnesses. The second one, I believe there is a third one out now. I need to look it up. But yeah, ooh, so excited. This is by Emily Hanlon, and I really had a blast with that first one. It's an unlikely friendship that eventually semi-forms. I can't even say it truly forms, but it does semi-form between them, and so much fun. Maria comes across her clues and her things a little sideways, kind of Miss Marple-ish. They call her the Purple Pest. People don't want to be around her, and Martha gets dragged into it. You know what I didn't do? On either one of these, I didn't read the first sentence. So I'm going to stop there, go back, read them really quickly. Why not? This is the introduction. We're not going to read it to the introduction. That would be silly. Okay, first up, December 7th. Plant the indoor bulbs. Just as I'm in the middle of them, Lady Box calls. I say, untruthfully, how nice to see her, and beg her to sit down while I just finish the bulbs. Okay, I had to read a little more than one sentence because it just got better. Anyway, Helga's diary. I can't believe I didn't do this, guys. Oh, there are maps in here. So we get Terezin and the journey, but we don't get Auschwitz. Okay. All right. No, don't want the introduction. Skip to Malou. Oh, no, want the author's note. Skip to Malou, my darling. All right. What do they mean by mobilization? Okay, that's the first sentence. All right. The Diary of a Provincial Lady, I'm really glad I went back to that one. I guess we didn't need it from the other one, but oh well. All right. So let's read the back of the Cloud of Witnesses now. Sorry, guys. Life at St. John of the Cross Parish in Peckett Bays should have returned to normal after one of its priests was cleared of murdering a parishioner and the true killer put behind bars. But a troublesome new group called Des Ray... Oh, I think it's Des Irae. Anyway, has moved in, led by the fire and brimstone Father Thaddeus. When one of its devoted followers dies under suspicious circumstances, Father Seamus enlists Martha Collins to help him oust Father Thaddeus from the parish. But when a second member of Des Irae, I hope I'm saying that right, D-I-E-S, Des? Yeah, Irae dies. The Purple Pest detective, Myra Cook, I have some critter in here determined to bother me. Maria, I keep wanting to call her everything but her name. It's Maria, I believe. Cook shuffles back into action. Can Maria unmask another murderer before he or she strikes again, or will Martha become the next victim? Okay, that one kind of works, because instead of saying will they be able to figure it out, it's like, no, can they do it before he or she strikes again? And then she just ramped it up and said, or will Martha become the next? I mean, like, whoa, okay, yeah, I like that one. All right, just because I'm always whining, I thought I should say when I thought they did well. Anyway, in this sequel to Emily Hanlon's phenomenal debut, Who Am I to Judge?, the scatterbrained octogenarian sleuth, Maria, and her sensible sidekick, Martha, are back in action with new twists and turns, an assortment of scheming suspects, and, of course, plenty of purple-penned note cards. First sentence. Let's see what we've got here. Bang! The door to Father Seamus's office slammed open, and a sonorous voice rang out, "Suicide is a mortal sin. I will have no part of it." Okay. Yeah, I think this one's going on my list for starting next week, because I should be finishing a couple and I will need another one. So I think that's probably gonna go there anyway. All right, so Into the Promised Land by Sarah Heatwole. This is a fictionalized version of her grandparents' actual story. So we're going to go with this. I have to turn this way because this is really hard to read. It's glossy, white, small print on a medium blue. It's just, my eyeballs are just like, no, you've been up too long. So let's try this. Growing up in the shadow of the Great Depression, Andy Troyer longs for more than the hunger and hardship plaguing his family. When his father becomes a minister, their prospects improve. But Andy's restless spirit still yearns for something beyond the bounds of his Amish community. In a neighboring district, tragedy shatters Sylvia's sheltered world. In the depths of grief, a vivid dream leads her to an encounter with Jesus that changes the course of her life. When Andy's and Sylvia's paths cross, they discover a shared longing and love that deepens as they embrace a new faith together. But following Jesus means jeopardizing the security of family and community, forcing them to choose between clinging to tradition or risking everything to answer his call. Inspired by a true story, Into the Promised Land is a timeless tale of love and loss, courage and forgiveness, and the life-changing power of God's redeeming grace. So, yeah, I mean, this is her family's story. And from what I understand, she didn't change a lot, if I recall correctly. But obviously conversations and stuff, she only has a general idea of that kind of stuff. You have to have those to bridge the parts that you actually know. So, I mean, there's that. But, I mean, in the particulars, most of this is pretty much spot on. So it's a lovely cover. I love that cover. But I just love the fact that two people independently want more from their faith, find Jesus, then each other, and take the hard road. And I'm just like, yes. I was into it. And that's the kind of Amish I think I can really get behind. So I'm super excited about that. All right. Then I talked to Kayla Green, the author of The Goodness of Unicorns. This sounds just so fascinating to me. And it's the Tritonia Chronicles, book 1. When I talked to her about it, I was like, yes, please. All the yes, pleases. So, again, it's white on a varied but dark background, so it shouldn't be too bad, but because it gets lighter in spots, my eyes just aren't happy tonight, so I don't think so. Okay, guys, I got my laptop. I'm going to read it from here. I'm probably going to get all washed out, but I don't care. I just can't read it, and I don't want to get this wrong. One girl determined to heal her sister, and another looking for purpose in a nation on the brink of war. And unicorns, with a twist you've never seen before. It's Rowan Tritonia's 16th naming anniversary. Her plans for the day never included a headache that causes her to almost faint on a day meant for celebration. When the world comes back into focus, her brown eyes have changed to magenta. But what scares her more is that everything around her is now black and white, coupled with a mysterious ability to see the lights and shadows in a person's soul. Then, a local cleric implies that Rowan could have the power of sight, a gift which has only been seen in the stories of unicorns in the Book of Verramore, an ancient text. Rowan is perplexed. Why would Verramore give her something she never asked for, instead of answering her greatest prayer to help her younger sister, Blythe? News of the girl with sight quickly travels beyond Rowan's local village. When the king of Wisteria learns of her gift from a letter, he summons her to the castle. With growing political tensions from neighboring nations, Rowan may be able to provide the aid they desperately need. Linnea, the king's sister, and his primary advisor praise that Rowan has truly been blessed by a unicorn and can save the nation and its people from encroaching darkness. Meanwhile, back at home, Blythe sets out on her own journey. She feels helpless, tied down by the pain that keeps her homebound most of the time. Although she wears a smile to comfort those around her, especially her family, Blythe wonders if her life will ever amount to anything more than fading into the background. Is she truly too broken for any greater purpose, or can Verramore still use her? Okay, do not like the end of that synopsis again. We know the answer. Actually, the entire synopsis is kind of long. Just saying. So, what if I trip or fall or worse? Asked the young servant girl as her eyes widened. What if I spill water on Sir Elias and he arrests me? Okay, I had to keep going because that was kind of funny. But anyway, yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm fascinated by the idea. And I love, if you see the cover is really, really very magenta-y, right? But her eyes turn magenta, but her sight goes black and white. And I think that's kind of fascinating. Okay, this one is YA. I think the last one is too, if I recall correctly. This one is YA. This is Letters to Cassie by Joan Lovestrand Farley. And this sounded so good because this sounds like right up my alley kind of YA, so I'm really excited about it. It says Cassie always imagined her high school graduation would be a moment of celebration, surrounded by her family. But when her mother passes away from cancer just before her senior year, that dream shatters, and her future feels empty. Grief consumes her, and the path ahead seems impossible without her mom's steady guidance. Who am I? What are my strengths? What will I do with my life? Why does it all feel so meaningless? Even the smallest decisions feel overwhelming without her mom by her side, until her dad reveals something extraordinary. 9 letters her mom wrote, each with a special task for her senior year. These letters become a lifeline, not just a series of challenges, but a journey of healing, self-discovery, and faith. With each letter, Cassie is led closer to understanding her purpose and finding her identity as God's girl, uncovering the depths of God's love for her. Follow Cassie on this emotional and empowering journey and discover how these letters might inspire your own personal growth, one challenge at a time. And, okay, I'm going to close it because it's not shrinking like it's supposed to be. Anyway, that sounded like, yes, please. Okay, the first entire sentence, gone. That's the whole sentence. I'm going to read the next one too. Like a tornado, my world turned upside down. No, it was worse than that. A nuclear bomb demolished my protected life and left behind devastation where there used to be beauty and joy. Okay, I kept going, but I like where it's going, so I had to do that. So anyway, letters to Cassie. I had to have this book. I think this thing sounds amazing, and I hope it's as good as it looks. And because letters. I mean, you know, obviously epistolary is my jam, and this one is, you know, like on sourdough toast and hot still. I mean, it's just like, this is all the things. So, yeah, I have quite a few books here. These were all podcast buys. And I've got a couple more coming too, in addition to the other ones. I had a couple conversations, and so a couple more are coming. But these were podcast stories. Oh, this is a personal friend. This came as a recommendation to this, which these 3 were all, no, that's not true. These 2 were book 2 recommendations, and this one was a Facebook, just Jamie Jo Wright just happened to mention it. I'm pretty sure it was her. So anyway, so yeah, I've got quite a healthy stack, but now I need to read them. Now, I'm reading You've Got Murder by Donna, what's her name? Don't remember her last name. So far, really enjoying it. Again, very just scattered, occasional, not so, you know, mild epithets. I don't appreciate them, but at least they're not horribly vulgar. But I am really enjoying it. It's really fun because this was written back in like 2002 or something. And it's not as out of date as you would expect. A few things are. Like this AI who has gone sentient, she doesn't have good text to voice. Her AI voice is, the pronunciation's pretty atrocious, like it would have been back then, and it has obviously gotten far better now. But other than that, and a few things like some people not having computers, and not everybody has a cell phone. Other than little things like that, for the most part, you would almost not notice that it wasn't current day. So that was pretty impressive to me, because that just shows me that this writer was looking forward to what was reasonable in the future. And I think she did a pretty decent job. Right now, we know what's happened, but we don't know the fallout of what's happened, I guess, is what it's going to say. There have been a few murders, but not everybody realizes that they're murders. So it's kind of this really cool, like, jumble of things. And, you know, this Turing has got other people doing her work for her. It's just pretty cool. I'm also in the middle of the Warsaw Sisters. I'm about a quarter of the way into this, so it's not middle. Warsaw Sisters by Amanda Barratt. Really enjoying it right now. So, you know, usually when I think about World War II, I'm astounded by how many millions and millions and millions of people died I mean, like, it's unbelievable. There were, 6-7 million Jews. But what about the German soldiers? That goes up into, like, I don't know, 22 million. But then you go into the Russians, and it's millions upon millions upon millions, double, triple that. It's unbelievable how many Russians died. And that's not including the hundreds of thousands of Allied soldiers and the Japanese and all. I mean, there's just, it's unbelievable, and I'm always just astounded by the numbers. But when I read books like this, and you see what these people who were under siege went through, I wonder that anybody survived. It just blows my mind at the resilience of humanity. God doesn't make junk, and even though we did our best to mess it up, it's still pretty amazing. So, yeah, really am enjoying it. And it feels really hard to say because I don't enjoy hearing about people starving and being oppressed and being beaten or shot just because their ancestry isn't good enough for you. That doesn't sit well with me. So to say I'm enjoying it and seeing people hurt or, one of the things was 2 soldiers were killed. 2 German soldiers. So they took 100 people, just random 100 people hostage. And if someone didn't come forward to confess that they killed those German soldiers, they were going to shoot all 100 people. Nobody confessed. All 100 people die. They did it because they could, not because they were trying to teach a lesson. I'm sorry. That's just way overboard. So anyway, and honestly, I think if they had said, we're going to kill 2 people for every one that you killed, unless you tell, I think they'd had a better shot. Going that far extreme just ensured that people stood up to them. And anyway, not that I have an opinion or anything. Also, I'm reading Music in the Hills. I just started this tonight, so I'm only 5 chapters in. This follows Victoria Cottage, and I loved that book, and I'm loving this one already. Caroline's sister is where her son has gone to stay to learn how to be a farmer, and they're in Scotland. And I love her son, but her sister, I mean, Caroline was a wonderful character in Victoria Cottage. She was such a strong woman. I was so impressed by her. But I have to say, her sister, just phenomenal. I love her sister. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the rest of the story. But it's kind of interesting. Some interesting things have already happened. And this copy is such a good copy. I mean, it is so bright. I was surprised at how bright it was. I had to fix a couple of very, very, very minor tears on the dust jacket before I started reading, and so then I got to really good look at it, and like none of it has split. There were just a couple of those tiny little top things, and I just decided to stop them before they got bigger. But it's just a lovely, lovely, lovely copy. This is the worst spot on the whole dust jacket, and I can take that. But yeah, loving already, and we've only gotten 5 chapters in, so for what it's worth. But yeah, that's what I'm reading. And I think I'm going to go and reheat my tea because it's barely warm. And eat my cookies. And I will see you guys on Monday with what I have finished. So far, I've only finished 1 book that I know of, I think. We'll see. But yeah, that's not much, but it might be a really short video. If I haven't finished something else, I will probably do something else Monday and just save it for the next week. Maybe do something Memorial Day themed instead. We'll see. But yeah. Cheers, and I will see you on Monday with something. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll find out. You'll find out when I find out. It'll be great. I hope you have a great weekend. Those of you in the U.S., I hope that you have a safe Memorial Day. See you later.